I'm delighted to turn the reins over to a man who understands that deep tradition, who has lived it, and is returning to his home state with a strong resolve to resume our rightful place at the top of the NCAA in men's basketball.
On the Extra Point, live at 6, the Tops close out homestand battle against the number 5 team in the country and region rival.
Making quite the run in the postseason, the Lady Tops Hoops might have met their match earlier this week. Find out how they fared coming up next, right here on the Extra Point.
With all the action from around Warren County and your WKU Hilltoppers, this is the Extra Point.
Tuning into the Extra Point tonight, I'm Marcus Browning.
And I'm Lexi Ratterman. You know, Marcus, someone stands very tall on the hill this week. All right, so my Rick Stansbury pun isn't that funny, but...
Join me in welcoming Western Kentucky University's new men's basketball coach, Rick Stansbury.
The head coach, Rick Stansbury. Stansbury is a Battletown, Kentucky native who comes to the Hill just after an assistant coaching position at Texas A&M. The search was long, but it ended with a final candidate that was just too good to pass up. Stansbury had previously been a head coach at Southeastern Conference School, Mississippi State. In his time in Starksville, he led the Bulldogs to a great several seasons, and he was only behind Florida and Kentucky as the winningest coach program in the SEC during that stretch. While at A&M, Stansbury was part of a team that was SEC regular season champions and took UK to overtime in the SEC tournament championship game. Stansbury has bloodlines here on the Hill, as his great uncle Ed Stansbury was an original driving force behind the Red Towel. WKU Athletics Department is excited for the new coach, but what are students saying about it? Reporter Madison Ogg set out to ask WKU students what they thought about Coach Stansbury.
With the hype of March Madness, Western Kentucky University faced a basketball madness of their own. Former basketball coach Ray Harper resigned, but WKU has already found a new face for Hilltopper basketball, Coach Rick Stansbury.
At the end of the day, I know what this place is about. I know not where it's at, but where we're going to go with it. And again, it's going to take every one of us. It's not about me. It's about all of us in here. And that first game we show up to this year, we want that arena packed just like this and all you media guys in there. And we're going to put a team on that floor which y'all going to be proud of.
Not only is the athletics department excited for what the Coach Stansbury era will hold, WKU students are too.
I think Stansbury's a good hire. He's a guy just freshly off of retirement, so he's got some motivation.
He seems to know what he's talking about and know what he's doing when it comes to coaching a basketball team, so that's pretty exciting.
I feel like he's going to be a major improvement this season especially. I'm actually looking very forward to it.
This isn't the first time Diddle Arena has seen a Stansbury. The new coach's great uncle Ed Stansbury is actually one of the creators behind the famous Red Towel.
He's bringing the tradition back, and he knows the tradition and history of Western Kentucky basketball, and he's going to bring it back because we kind of lost that here in the past couple years. But with him coming back, knowing it, we're going to see a lot more people get involved with it like they were back in recent years.
Western Kentucky's getting back on this map. We're going to another level here. It's going to take us all now.
WKU fans are looking forward to seeing Coach Stansbury's enthusiasm transfer from the press conference to the court. For the Extra Point, I'm Madison Ogg.
Despite driving to the Hill this past weekend, Stansbury will hit the road again to find new recruits. It's that time in the show where I finally get to sit back and take a break and toss it over to Matthew and Marcus for some Stansbury stats. Take it away, gentlemen.
Thanks, Lexi. And I'm here with WKU basketball beat writer for the College Heights Herald, Matthew Stewart. And last week, we discussed the potential head coaches to fill the void of Ray Harper.
We even discussed a front runner.
Stan the Man.
Is here on the Hill.
He's here on the Hill, and he's taking over for WKU basketball. And while we touched on just a few of his resume points last week, what are some more of the resume points that we left out for him?
First thing I'd like to say is a winning pedigree. In 14 seasons at Mississippi State as the head coach, he took that team to 6 NCAA tournament appearances. I believe he may have won an NIT in that time. He has 4-star recruits coming in year after year after year for the Bulldogs, and that's something that he wants to bring here. He's a Kentucky native. He played at Campbellsville. He was also an associate head coach at Texas A&M, who also made some noise in the tournament this year. Winning pedigree is the first thing I think of, and I think that could help WKU and the program.
And I really think that the fact you touched on, that he is a Kentucky native, Kentucky native is vital because he's able to draw in crowds. The press conference was so lively. The vibes of it were just
it was great.
It was truly great, and the fact that just 10 days prior to that press conference, WKU basketball, even Todd Stewart said, it was the lowest that the program had seen in years past. And so
the fans were not happy.
The fans weren't happy.
At the press conference on Monday that you touched on, I've been to quite a few here on the Hill, and I can say that I've not seen a room that full for a press conference. It seemed that the local community really surrounded this. They were really excited to have a new beginning for Hilltopper basketball. Students, non-students, old, young, they all showed up, and the room was full, and it was happy. I mean, it was a great day for Hilltopper basketball.
The vibes were truly great, and a couple of the things that he addressed in the press conference, some of the problems that could run into is the fact of the roster voids. And so therefore, he touched on recruiting. He would recruit the likes of the same recruits that Texas A&M would go after.
He even
Mississippi
spoke
State.
on Kentucky.
He even spoke of Kentucky.
We might not be able to get the McDonald's All-Americans that UK gets, but he is talking about these 4-star recruits. He really likes to bring in players that are from Kentucky that are skilled, and he doesn't want to see them go to other programs that are out of state. He said there's no reason for them to feel that they need to go somewhere else to play at a high level.
And therefore, he wants the players to come here, and he addressed in the press conference that he was going to begin the recruiting trail here relatively soon. He's already got started. Can you give us an update on that?
Yes. Stansbury on Wednesday visited John Mulmore, a 6'4" guard from Allegheny College in Maryland. And now, he wants scores. This kid averaged 26 points per game. We lost 3 players to graduation, 3 players to suspension, and 1 halfway through the season from suspension. That's 56 or 58 points per game that we lost, which is 76% of the team's total offense. So he really needs to get some players that can score the ball. Another one, Chris Cheeks, a former Delaware assistant coach, is now on the WKU staff. He went and met with a 6'7" shooting guard, 6'7". As a shooting guard.
It's huge.
Ryan Skovranko, he's averaging 17.7 points per game at the Community College of Beaver County right outside Pittsburgh. Now a note on him, he was being recruited by John Calipari earlier in his career. So if we can bring high caliber players like that to WKU's program, I see a big difference in next year's season.
So before we get out of here, how do you think that Stansbury will fare in his first season here at WKU?
I see an SEC head coach coming to Conference USA, and I see him bringing the WKU program to be probably one of the top tier teams in Conference USA next year. Maybe not winning the conference tournament, but I think maybe getting an NCAA tournament bid wouldn't be that big of a stretch for this team.
Therefore, that's all you have right there from Matthew Stewart, WKU beat writer for the College Heights Herald. Be sure to stay right here. The Easter Bunny visited the WKU baseball team over the weekend. Find out what it left them coming up.
First off, Todd, I thought I was the only guy you talked to.
Staying on the court, but moving to the women's side of things, the Lady Toppers closed out their season on Sunday against South Dakota in the quarterfinals of the WNIT. The Ladies in Red tried to keep up with a tough Coyote team, and even though things were tied up at the beginning of the third quarter, that wasn't enough. With a few shots from the South Dakota bench, the Lady Tops couldn't quite get things moving in their direction. They went on to lose 68-54, closing their season 27-7. See what Extra Point reporter Catherine Gardner has for us.
Hey guys, I'm here live at EA Diddle Arena where, as you can tell, the Hilltopper Hardwood isn't seeing too much action postseason, but nonetheless, hoop fans from all over the country are looking forward to the Final Four this coming Saturday. So that leaves one question. How's your bracket looking? Odds are nowhere near perfect.
Sending Demery back.
It's pretty bad.
For college basketball fans, it puts the mad into March Madness. Busted brackets.
It's pretty much falling apart.
All look really bad.
About as busted as it can get.
Have you ever come close to making a perfect bracket?
No.
So, if millions of Americans fill out brackets each and every single year, why hasn't anyone picked a perfect bracket yet?
It's hard to have a perfect bracket because the odds of having a perfect bracket are virtually zero. You've got 63 games that are being played, and each game has 2 possible outcomes. And if you take it just with a 50-50 chance, you end up at the odds of being 1 in 9.2 quintillion.
However, people usually go with stats over chance.
You can calculate the odds of every matchup based on the seed facing each other. And when you do that, instead of 9.2 quintillion, you've got a 1 in 41.6 billion. Sometimes there's the circumstances of the game. There will be upsets, there will be teams that win by a fluke, by a crazy shot, by something that's happening with a player that we don't even know about.
But don't let these daunting numbers discourage you. Some Hoops fans, like Brooks Cockrell, enjoy filling out brackets to take on those odds every year, hoping for a decent bracket.
It's fun to try. I got Oklahoma, Virginia, North Carolina, and Kansas, so I'm sitting pretty for the moment.
And as some fans are more focused on the big dance, others like Brooks are looking further down the road for their favorite team.
I stand by my Toppers. You know, we're looking at a new coach, looking at a new time, so hey, go Tops. Hope to be back in it soon.
Now, even if your bracket isn't looking so hot this go around, you always have next year to try again. If you're interested in what Dr. Foraker had to say regarding the seed versus seed probability sheet, like the one you see right here, you can go to newschannel12live.com to check it out for yourself. Reporting live from EA de la Arena, I'm Catherine Gardner for the Extra Point. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Catherine. Switching gears now to the dirt, Nick Dennis Field was packed on Tuesday night as the Hilltoppers took on in-state rival Louisville. With a crowd just a little over 1,700, the Tops are ready for a big show. However, that wasn't the case. WKU couldn't quite get the bats going, and going up against the 10th ranked pitching staff, the Cardinal defense and offense was one the Tops couldn't hold up to. However, one hit did come from the Hilltoppers in the 7th inning from Danny Hedzina, who extended his hitting streak to 29 games. But that wasn't enough. The Hilltoppers sunk low, and the Redbirds flew high, winning 17-0. While Tuesday night recorded a loss, over the weekend, the Easter Bunny hopped in and delivered WKU baseball a sweep against Middle Tennessee State. In Game 1 of the weekend series, the bats were hot for the Hilltoppers as they out-hit the Blue Raiders 10-6. Moving to Saturday afternoon, the Hilltoppers couldn't seem to be stopped, and with a big play in the bottom of the 7th from Stephen Kraft, it helped secure a Hilltopper victory. The third and final game of the series came Easter Sunday, and boy was the Easter Bunny good to the Hilltoppers. Pitcher Ryan Thurston was a beast on the mound, only allowing 3 total hits to end the game series, and with the WKU sweep 3-0.
Coming up for the baseball guys to start off April Fool's Day, they'll take on the University of Alabama, Birmingham. Or will they? Maybe it's an April Fool's joke. Well, fortunately for baseball fans, they actually will play UAB Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, they'll head to Birmingham, and 6:30 marks the first pitch for the game. After that, Saturday's game starts at 2 and Sunday's at 1. While the boys on the diamond look to rebound from a loss to Louisville, so do the Lady Tops. Coach Tudor and company took on a beating Wednesday night at the WKU softball complex. The ladies allowed 2 grand slams in back-to-back innings that saw Louisville score 7 in the second and 5 in the third. WKU would fail to get a runner past second until the 4th inning. However, nothing would come of that as they strained their best chance to score. The Lady Tops fall 12-0. After the utter defeat by the Lady Cardinals, the Lady Tops look to bounce back this weekend in Hattiesburg, Mississippi for a weekend matchup with Southern Mississippi. The Lady Eagles, much like WKU, find themselves below 500 for the year and subpar in Conference USA outings. This is the first meeting between the teams this year, but WKU stole the show last year, sweeping Southern Miss here in Bowling Green. The first game for this weekend series is Saturday at 1, with game number 2 following the conclusion of the first.
While there is a lot happening surrounding the court in Diddle Arena, the WKU tennis courts bring a team growing every single day. Extra Point reporter Tyler Poe has the story.
On paper, a team that goes 9-4 might not be too impressive, but considering where they were 2 years ago, the WKU tennis team has a lot to be proud of.
Well, we're working pretty hard every day on practice, at weights, and I guess coach is doing a pretty good job in practicing and in recruiting good players. And I think we're very strong together.
And yet, they aren't satisfied.
But I think there's always room for improvement. We can do a lot better, and I can't wait for the next matches and, of course, the conference tournament.
Coach Burhane has a lot of praise for the effort his team has shown this season.
I think every single player is a leader for me. They just have specific roles, and I think everybody so far have done a great job. My senior Gabby, she hasn't played that much in singles, but she has taken that opportunity and played very well in doubles, and She's undefeated so far this year. And then a couple of my returners are doing a great job as well. Even the players that are not playing, they're helping out, they're supporting. So I feel like each person is a leader.
Going forward, the team is looking to make a splash in the conference tournament and volley their way into success. Reporting for the Extra Point, I'm Tyler Poe.
Coach Burhane and his team have one more match on the road at MTSU on April 16th before the conference tournament begins 4 days later.
And coming up on the Extra Point,
Durant's that much. I had the luxury of having Jared Dangerfield and Antoine Grant out here. Those are my guys, man, so it made it easier for me. But, you know, in this setting with all that pressure on you, got like 1,000 people. I was like, man, this is awkward as crap. Everyone's just kind of staring at you, looking at you like a piece of meat. So I was kind of trying to get some music or something, but no, it was cool, man. It's always a good time, you know, throwing the last time on the hill, man. It's kind of a special moment for sure.
Very early this morning. I was trying to set up a pickup game, but I figured out there's no guards and no shooting guards. Got no biking. I got nobody who can dribble up the court or shoot it. I had a bunch of bigs. Now all those bigs, they want to dribble and shoot now. I know that already, all of them. So I was hoping maybe I can find some media guys in here who could fill in, have enough for some scrimmage, but looking around, I don't see many athletes in that group neither.
Tuesday morning, some notable WKU football players took part in Pro Day. One of the most notable players that took Fikes Field for probably the last time with an audience, Brandon Doughty. Doughty's easily one of the top prospects coming off the 2015 squad, and all eyes were on him. 31 of the 32 NFL teams gathered in the stadium to see if Doughty lived up to the hype that went along with his name. When the day was done, Doughty was nothing but humble about his performance.
I talked to a lot of teams. I have a lot of visits coming up, you know, we're just kind of trying to figure it out, trying to figure everything slow down. Hopefully I can pick up some more individual workouts after the Pro Day. I thought I threw it pretty well. You know, I missed some stuff, but you know how I am. I just kind of dwindle on the bad stuff rather than the good stuff. So, but no, you know, I got some individual workouts this week. I got some visits to go out next week, but. A lot of good feedback. A lot of good feedback from today. A couple of GMs were here, and I talked to them, so that was cool. But you know, just kind of doing a day-by-day process and trying to kind of get better every day. So.
Another great that took the field Tuesday, Jared Dangerfield. This past season was a great confidence booster for the 6'3" wide receiver who managed more than 80 receptions and ran for almost 850 yards. Dangerfield is no stranger to a Brandon Doughty pass, so he wasn't shy about showing off what he could do with a throw from the QB. Overall, the boys had a very professional Pro Day.
It went pretty good, you know, the weather was pretty good. We had a good turnout, you know, my hamstrings a little tight, but I feel like I did pretty good out there.
While Doughty stole the show and Dangerfield still had stuff to prove, WKU had others showcasing their abilities at Pro Day Tuesday. Tyler Higbee, Antoine Grant, Prince Charles Aurora, and man, he really impressed, Wonderful Terry are just a few of the names who participated. For Higbee, it was important for him to showcase his rapid recovery from his knee surgery. However, as mentioned, Prince Charles Aurora was a headline outside of Doughty and Higbee. He showcased his blazing hot speed and quick hips to the scouts. The search was quick and it was thorough. Our Hero on the Hill helped out WKU athletics quite a bit over the past few years. Find out who coming up.
I'm not here to rebuild. I'm not here to change anybody's culture. That seems to be the word everybody wants to use at a press conference, change the culture. That's not me. I'm not changing the culture. We have a winning culture already. And we're just going to build on that, and we're going to take it to the next level.
In full swing, and while many sports fans are focused on the upcoming championship game, one WKU team is focusing on a championship of their own. Reporter Amanda Johnson gives us an inside look at a team that doesn't need a ball in their hands to compete.
Spring has finally arrived at Western Kentucky University, but the bells ringing aren't the only thing that can be heard on the hill.
While many students at WKU are playing sports like basketball, volleyball, and soccer, some students are taking a stab at something a little bit different.
The WKU Fencing Club first stepped foot on campus in 1976, making it the oldest club-level sport at Western. And its roots are still growing strong after nearly 40 years, thanks to the team's instructor.
Well, I joined the fencing club when I was a student here at Western. There was a fellow in the engineering department that
he just wanted some people to fence with, so we started a club.
About 15 students make up the Hill's oldest sports club, and according to Faller, fencing is a different kind of sport that attracts a unique group of individuals.
It seems to attract a different type of person, maybe that not necessarily that's not good at other sports, but I think the mental aspect of it is the challenge that attracts a lot of people. We seem to get a lot of thinkers in the fencing group. Fencing is chess at warp speed.
While some students may be hesitant to try out the sport, the president encourages anyone interested to stop by.
So the great thing about club sports or sport clubs is that's a no tryout policy. You never had to done anything like that in your life, and we're going to let you in and we're going to show you how to do it, and we're going to hope that you like it.
The fencing club currently meets twice a week for practice, and some team members are preparing to compete in the Derby Open National Qualifiers at the end of April. For the Extra Point, I'm Amanda Johnson.
If you're interested in finding out more about the team, you can find more information on the WKU website. This week's Hero on the Hill has done many things for WKU the past few years.
He's brought 5 new coaches to the Hill, with all of the coaches winning a combined 225 games while at WKU.
Those coaches also have had a winning percentage of 68%, and this man has even brought a new coach to the Hill this week.
The man is none other than WKU's very own athletic director, Todd Stewart.
So thank you, Todd, for all of the success you have helped bring to the Hill, making you this week's Hero on the Hill.
Every week we bring you a play that has the capability of, well, dropping your jaw. And while this week's play isn't one that is over the top, it's not too bad. Let's head on out to Oracle Arena as Steph Curry's going to pick the pass from Nene, and he's going to slam it down, hammer it home. And the fact about this play that is so jaw-dropping is he actually slams a ball, he dunks it. Not a three-pointer. He would, however, go 6 of 8 from three-point range in the game with a final score of 102-94. Warriors taking the win. And Lexi, moving on back to the Hill for basketball, myself and Matthew were able to give our thoughts about Rick Stansbury. What's your thoughts?
I think the greatest thing about Coach Stansbury that's going to be happening is that over the few years, WKU's had some trouble bringing a crowd into Diddle Arena. And with him having the top 10 crowds in Mississippi State University history, I think the momentum for that is going to carry over here.
And the fact that he's from Kentucky, he's a Kentucky native, I think that's going to help bring people in. They obviously know his name, and the fact that a lot of these people are probably friends with him or know his family, it's very huge. Of course, he's got a winning pedigree. Let's switch on over to Michelle Clark-Hurd, who also has a winning pedigree. What she's done for this program, a team that was supposed to be a rebuilding team, went 27-7.
And the great thing about that team is most of them are going to be coming back to WKU after this squad season.
This season, and one key addition that they're going to be bringing on is a 3-star point guard in Whitney Creech. That's per ESPN. She had 71 points in a game in her senior year this year against Paintsville. So the fact that she's able to go out and score like that, I think that's just going to add even more power and more momentum to this WKU Lady Tops squad.
I think they've got a great start for next year.
I definitely do. And folks, that's all we've got for today. But Lexi, as always,
the extra point is up.
And it's good.